welcome to another tutorial here on the Korg Minilogue. It's a sound design tutorial, but I think it could be interesting even if you don't own the Korg Minilogue. In this video we are going to make a pad sound using the Korg Minilogue and some bow beats tips and tricks. Basically we are going to try and make a pretty moving pad sound, and of course you could also use the motion recorder over here in the sequencer to add even more layers of complexity to it. But we'll stick with the basic sound today, just trying to show you some creative ways to use it. So let's get into it. We start off as usual with the saw wave here, and we'll start with adding the pad's fundament. So I think we'll go with the saw, and I usually stop by turning down the cutoff a bit and checking the shape here and see. I'm not sure. When you're doing this with a chord, I think having the shape at its default position, or you know, like 5%, is pretty good. Next up, we go to the amp envelope generator. Basically that's where you shape the kind of the length and feel of the sound, if you want a short plucky sound or if you want a drawn out sound. We add a lot of attack, we max out the decay, we max out the sustain, and we work with the release here. Let's see. Something like that. Next up, we want to add some overtones to the sound. So we'll bring in oscillator number 2. But I don't think I want the same waveform, so let's try the triangle. And we used octave button here to push it up. We can even try the highest one. Not sure about that. Let's go to the square. Yeah, I think we can work with the square. Let's find a good shape. So we use the shape knob. Here, I like this one. Next up, we'll use the resonance here, turning up the resonance a bit, turning down the cutoff a bit, because I don't really want that much bottom end, and the resonance on the Minilogue in particular, this doesn't apply to all synthesizers, but in particular the resonance knob is good for cutting, you know, a bit of the low. Maybe too much. Something like this. I think I'll put back on the release and the sustain a little bit here. So the sustain is about, yeah, 1/4 and the release is about 2 o'clock. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Next up, I'm going to use the filter. Oh, sorry, not the filter. I'm going to use the delay here. And as I told you before, I really like the post-filter delay. Basically, that applies the delay after the filter. So you can use the high-pass cutoff to shape the sound really, you know, in a great way. So the timing here is set to about 2 o'clock and the feedback to about 2 o'clock. Let's see how it sounds. And the high-pass to about 1/4 That's okay. We can meddle with it a bit more later if we want to. The point here is that we want the time and feedback to kind of melt together with the sound, so we don't get that much delay that we can hear. It should just emphasize and reverberate and create a tail. It shouldn't, you know, be like that kind of super obvious delay. That's not what I'm after. Now let's check if you want 4-pole or 2-pole. So this is the 4-pole and 2-pole. Now, I've said it before, I usually go for the 4-pole with these kinds of sounds. And we can set the key track to 50% and the velocity to 100%. And we do have a little bit of noise coming from the delay section. And of course you can turn that off and apply external delay, that's another way. But as I've said, these tutorials is meant to show you creative ways of creating big sounds on the Minilogue without external effects. So next up, I think we'll add some cross-mod depth. Now, on pad sounds in particular, you can hear, if I press the pad here, and you can go a little bit higher than we did on the bass and the lead sounds in my other tutorials. If you haven't seen my other tutorials, you can just check the description. There should be links. I've got one for a pad and one for a lead sound. But we can add a bit to 10 minutes too, about 20% from the start here. So we have a kind of a big sound, and we can of course cut a little bit if we don't want that much bottom end. So the high pass cutoff here is your friend. High pass cutoff, lovely. Now let's start to add some. I mean, this is a pad that works, but let's add some more of my magic. Now, what I want to do firstly here is I want to apply a little bit of pitch envelope. So basically, that makes it so that this envelope generator here affects the pitch of the sound. What we'll do here is we'll increase the attack of the envelope generator here. We have a lot of decay, sustain, and release on the sound, so we can try that. The reason why you want a lot of decay and sustain and release is because you don't want an effect. If we turn those down, the effect will be just like a very short sound. So the effect we'll get will be slow, but then quick to revert back to the original state. And we don't want that. We want kind of a drawn out effect. And now we'll try and add pitch, e.g. intensity, or we increase the intensity. And this affects are higher notes or higher tones on this pad sound. So let's just add a lot and it'll sound terrible. Or awesome, depending on what you want. And let's go negative. But I think you can hear that there is potential here. So let's add, let's try with 300. So you can hear this has potential. Let's decrease the attack a bit. And you can hear how the pitch is. And if we turn down the decay and sustain, you should be able to hear, and we can we add some more. And it goes back faster when I turn down the decay and sustain and release. It's probably hard to hear exactly. So maybe this is a bit insane. Let's try 200. I think that can work. You get this kind of movement in the sound that is really interesting. Next up, we are going to use the EG intensity. This has to do with how the envelope generator affects the filter. But as you will hear, because of the cross effects here, it'll impact the sound. So this is what we got now. If we increase the percentage here of the EG intensity, envelope generator intensity, to say 20%. And if we turn it down to about 20%. 20% is too much, so let's add just 10%. I think that sounds pretty cool. So what have we done? Well, basically we're just using this pitch, EG, intensity knob here together with the envelope generator to create a sound with pitch movement. And I think it's set not to 200 but to 190. And of course it's very good to listen in context. So if you have something playing, just add like a couple of drums and a bass line going in C, for example, and play a chord here. And see if it fits. Now of course, you know, the effects I'm adding here is a little bit over the top. It's because it's very hard to hear if I just, you know, do it super mellow. So I want to add it a little bit crazy. We can of course start using the LFO here as well. Now what I'd like to try and do is let's try and add it to, let's start with the cutoff. So we set it to cutoff. We set a rate, not too high and not too much of intensity, and let's see how it impacts the sound. So that's one cool effect. If we apply it to shape, what happens then? Well, this happens. So the rate is set to about 20% from the onset here, and the intensity to about 20%. And of course we can change the wave as well. If we set it to square, you get this more bam 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 feeling. And if we set it to triangle, and if we set it to saw. With the saw it starts with a lot more intensity to it. So I usually go for a pad, I usually go with the triangle. Setting it to shape for this sound gives it this bombastic feel. Very cool. Setting it to cutoff gives it a totally different feel. And here of course you have to work with the rate to get it to sync properly to your type of sound. So yeah. And of course you can also use an EG modulation here, but I don't think I'll focus on that for now. And then of course you have ring modulation. Let's turn it on. This can be a really cool effect as well. I remember using a lot of ring modulation for some of the more spooky sounds I made. But I don't want that. So, we have a pad sound, and this was a BowBeats tutorial on sound design with the Minilogue. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you want to support the channel further, you should head over to BowBeats over on Patreon. It's patreon.com/BowBeats. Just supporting me with €1 a month is a lot of help to this channel and this project. So if you want to do that, I'm super thankful. So I hope you have a pleasant day, and thank you so much for watching.